So let's start the head. All right, the first thing that we're gonna do is to make some sort of a jaw. Let's make a jaw shape. Now we are going to mask here beneath our head, make like a a neck shape like this. Let's refine a bit more the shapes. Now here there is a plane change in the back of our head. We have a plane change here, like you can see in this image. Let me see. Like here, you can see there is a plane change here, and let's make this head shape. All right, so let's start making it. All right, like this. Make the plane change. On the front view, let's see how this looks. A bit narrower here. On the top view, the head looks like a neck with the narrower part pointing to the front, to the face. Well, let's make that egg shape like this. All right. Now I'm going to define more the jaw and add a ear, because the ear are really important to define the proportions and adjust the perspective. All right. The ears are super important to define the proportions of the face. I always like to put them at the beginning of the process. All right. Continue refining a bit more. Let's make a bit more narrower the neck. All right. See from all angles how this looks. All right. Now, the eyes. Where are the eyes? The eyes are going to be in the middle of the head. With the transpose line, we're going to measure from the top to the chin. And in the middle of this line will be the eyes. All right, like this. This is the eye socket. Let me use the edge polish to just define some plane changes here. Now I'm going to carve a bit more here, because the face is not up, it's not flat. The face is not flat like this. The face has a curve. It's not flat. A curve like that, yeah. Now from the eyes to the jaw, I'm going to carve like this. I'm going to carve like this to make some sort of a muscular shape. Let me refine a bit more the ears. Right. Let's tweak this part a bit more to make some sort of a nose. A bit narrower the face. Let's make a bit pointy the chin, because she's a female. All right, a bit pointy. I think that's good. A bit narrower the neck. All right. Now let's make the nose. Where are the nose? The nose will be in the middle of this distance, will be the bottom of the nose. So around here is the nose. Let's make some volume to represent that. All right. Some sort of a nose. Like this. We carve a bit more in the eye sockets. All right, let's make some mouth volume, because here will be the mouth when we crank up the resolution. All right. Perfect. All right, let's make some bony landmarks that I really like to put at the beginning. Just this help me with the whole anatomy of the head. Let's make some temporal bone here. Some temporal bone. Let's define the forehead. Add some frontal eminence. Let's smooth it a bit. I think I put it too much. I see she has a really big brain, so let's make it less big. All right. Let's see the concept. I'm not looking too much to the concept right now because we are at the beginning stages of this model of this head. I'm going to look more at the concept later when we're going to polish our face. Right now, I will fill again this gap with the temporal muscle here. Let's make a bit of a corner here in the eyes. All right. A bit more volume here, maybe. All right. Let me push this a bit deep. Maybe with a bit of an angle, the ears. Let's carve a bit more here to eliminate that weird volume there. Let's refine, tweak more the skull shape. Let me carve here a little bit just to mark the trapezius muscle and a little bit of the neck muscle that has a really long name that I don't want to pronounce now. All right, I think the neck is a bit long. Let's refine a bit more here. The nose. Let's save. Is always important to save. If you don't save, then so many times that ZBrush have saved me from the crashes. All right, now I'm going to crank up the resolution of our model. I'm going to select the 56 resolution on Dynamesh, and let's Dynamesh it. Now I'm going to make the nasolabial pad to fill this gap that we have made here. The nasolabial pad goes around here and ends around here. Let's fill this a bit more. All right. with the edge polish, we quickly refine the shape a bit. Now with the edge polish, I'm going to make some planes on the nose, like this. All right. To find a bit more the nose. Let's fill the eye sockets with some eye volume to represent where the eyes will be. And as you can see, just with this volume, the face start to look like a face. Let's add a bit of this fat pad that we have on the top of our eyes. All right, now I'm going to mask a bit here, and then I will carve like this. And the cheek, just to mark some sort of a cheekbone. All right, let's see if our ear is in the same height as our nose. As you can see, it's a bit higher. Let's make it a bit lower. Maybe longer also. Let's carve here in the ears to start making the anatomy of the ears a little bit. I'm not going to define it too much in this resolution. All right. Let me make a bit narrower the neck. A bit too much, I think. All right. Perfect. Let's define more here. With a bit of smooth. Reduce the frontal eminence. With sharper the chin. Define a bit more these plane changes here. All right. I think in our concept the eyes are a bit bigger, but we can deal with that later. Just let's make all the face features now, and then we are going to tweak them to make it look more like the concept. Right. Let me see if I can make it a bit bigger. I'm going to use the gizmo. Let's select this option here, local symmetry, and make it a bit bigger. Now I'm going to carve here just to define more the eye anatomy. A bit more here. Now it's starting to look like she has the eyes closed. Let's see from this angle to see how this is looking. I think she looks a bit quality with not too much fat, but make a bit full the cheeks. This thing she was looking. Because she doesn't look that thin. Also, you have to know the ears are in the middle of this distance. As you can see, my ears are a bit to the back. So I have fixed that now. In the females, the jaw angle is around 100, 145, around that angle. In the males are 90-degree angle. Because she's a female, I will make it a bit wider the angle, like this. And also this part, the jaw corner will be on the same height as the mouth. I think this bone here is a bit too much. All right. Let's make the face a bit smaller. Continue to refine more the overall shape of our head. We make this just to make a bit more evident the nasal labial flat pad and this flat pad, just to separate those. This eye flat pad to this nasal labial flat pad, and here will be the cheekbone. I will define a bit more planes just with the thumb standard, like this. Maybe we're going to split it up. Right. Now, I will crank up the resolution even more. I will put it in the 128, around that number. 128, all right. And let's make it. Let's define more the nose shapes. The nose shape. Will make this plane a bit more evident and make with the edge polish a bit flatter here. I really like to have a really strong plane change here. Let's see how this is looking on the front. You see, I have some reference of the style. Some reference are also mine. Like this style. These also have our reference. I using various references to achieve some sort of personal style that I really like, mixing it with the concept style. Let's define a bit more the neck muscle, like this, a bit of the throat. Let's smooth it more, defining more the ear shape. I will make my clay build-up. I will make it that don't affect the back part. Just clicking back face mask, just to define more these shapes here. Make this part of this that look like a Y. Let's make more of the ear, like this. Carve a bit more here. Right. A bit rounder. Perfect. Now, let's see if I can continue refining more the eyes. Let me see. It's looking weird now, I know. It's looking a bit weird. But this will look good eventually. Just trust me. Trust the process. This will look good. The only thing that you have to do is trust the process. Define more planes. Save. And let's make the mouth. How I make the mouth? Simple. I will first carve with the dump standard the corners of the mouth. And where are the corners of the mouth? I always know, usually I put them in the middle of our eyes. Maybe they can be a bit inner like this, like in the corner of our iris. We put like that, a bit of a small mouth. We carve the corners. Then I will join those two corners with a line. We'll carve like this in the corners. Continue carving now with the clay buildup to define more the lower lip. Let's see from the bottom view how this looks. Make rounder. Let's make this dimple here. Define even more the bottom lip. Now with the dump standard, I'm going to define the upper lip. Like this, and now with the move brush, I will give it more shape. Shape like this. Let's fill this gap that was looking a bit weird. Alright, let's make this dimple here that we all have on our heads. Alright, now let's define the lower lip. Define the lower lip like this. And now we have to know that the lower lip is not like this. Please don't make it like this. The upper lip will be always more forward than the lower lip. Alright. Now you can see it's kind of small. We have to continue tweak it to make it look nicer. Let's make this pin shape that we all have on our mouth, connecting these two shapes here. Carve a bit more. Let me see my references that I have. See a bit. All right, continue. Always watch your references. They are always important. All right. Find a bit more the mouth. Let's make it corners a bit less. define this plane here with the edge polish and a bit of the damp standard. Make it from the far. Oh, it's looking a bit weird, but this will look good eventually. Just trust me. Trust the process, please. Make more of this. Let's mark again the plane changes. Alright. I can see. Let's make the chin a bit narrower. Now looking to the bottom view, make it thinner, and this view also. Okay, now from here, let's make this less pronounced. This eyebrow bridge here a bit less pronounced. Let me make the nose a bit thinner also. Let's see how this looks from these angles. Let me define more this again. Alright. Then the cleaner this part. Alright. Let's continue this model. It's looking a bit weird, I know, but this will look good. Something like that you have to know that even on professional, the first minutes of our school will be a bit tedious. The things that we make will not look always nice at the beginning, but with the time, the things will look nice. Bit thinner here. Maybe the eyes a bit lower. Or not. Maybe not. A bit wider. Maybe, yeah. Move a bit more the head. Let's see the concept on our reference. Have a proper way to make this a bit cooler, the cheeks. Let's see how she looks if we define more display here. Maybe not that strong. Let's make this less wide. Move that part a bit. Let's save. Make the neck muscle a bit more inner, like this. Alright, I think that our head is tuning a bit better now. Alright. Now I will make the eyes. A paint and then a sphere. Here we have another subtool that in this tab here, in the tool menu that you can access there, here in the top bar of ZBrush, you can find it here. If you don't have this bar, just click here and then click this icon. Now here, let's click in subtool and then select this sphere subtool in the gizmo. Let's make a bit more smaller. Also, another thing that I really like to make the model real life size in centimeters. I always like to put this in 10, like this. Now, if we select our transpose line, these units that you can see here, now they are equal to centimeters. Now, the real life eyes from the real human are around 2.5 centimeters, but since she's stylized, they will be bigger. But let's make it 2.5 centimeters at the beginning. If we need, we can make it bigger. That's not a big deal. So let's see. Transparency. It will be placed some here, around here, yeah. And let's mirror it to the other part that use mirror and weld. In this case, it doesn't work because we have this local symmetry active. Let's inactive that and press again mirror and weld. All right. Let's active again this option. I think they are more for our head. Let's make a bit big. And let's start making our eyes. All right, let's grab the eyelids around our eyeballs because that's the way that the eyes are made. Our eyelids are wrapped around the eyeball. Right. All right, let's open her eyes. How we're going to make that? Just we're going to draw with the dumb standard the eye shape like this. On the top, we have 3 plane changes. The first goes like this, then like that, and finishing with this. All right, let's make it a bit more like a cat shape, like this maybe. It's looking weird, I know, but this will look good. Please trust me. Don't lose the faith on me. Don't lose it, please. Let's carve with the dumb standard the eyes. Right. Let's make this better. Same with that we saw with the mouth at the lower lip cannot go like that, pressing, getting forward than the upper lip. The same thing happens to the eyes. The upper lip will be more forward than the lower eyelid. All right, it's looking weird. I know. Just trust me. Let's make it a bit more like that. The eyes at the beginning always are a bit of a trouble because they always look weird. Maybe a bit more like that. Carve a bit more here. Define more this round shape. Or like this. I think that it's turning a bit better, maybe. Let's make this part here a bit of this fat part of the lower eyelid. Alright. Let me define a bit more again the separation here. I always like to have this a bit defined, at least at the beginning. This just help me with the overall base. Let me place correctly the fat pads. I will smooth it again. Right. Alright, let's see how is based on the concept. Let's make a bit of this fold that we have on top of our eyes like this. This fold is really important to make the eyes could look good. Now it's starting to look better now. All right. I think this is turning good. Make a bit fuller this fat part here. Perfect. Let's see how this looks with a bit of iris. I'm just masking it, and then I will inverse the mask just clicking with Control outside the object like this. And then with the inflate brush, this one here, or this one, inflate, where is it? I cannot find it now, but with the inflate brush, we're going to inflate a bit more to make this cornea shape. And then just for the provisional eyes, I'm going to just fill with a bit of a gray color like this, and then I will put, with me a bit more, and then I will put this oil plastic material that you can find here in the material tab. Here, where is it? Here, you can find it. Now with the oil plastic material selected, here in the material channel, we're going to click there and then fill object. That way our mesh will have the material that we have selected. Now let's go back to our previous material. All right, now it's looking more alive. And that way we can work better with the shapes because we can see it a bit on context with the eyes. Let's carve a bit more here. Let's carve more here in the nose. Let's make the nose a bit concave. This a bit thinner. Maybe not that thin, but something like this. But with the edge polish, let's continue refining some planes. If both of it to see how she looks like that. Let's continue refining more these shapes. More and more these shapes. Let's save. I think that she can have a bit of us smaller nose. Let's see the nose wings. More. Not that much. Refine more the nostrils. Define again the nose shape. Let me see my references. A bit. Right, let's make. I always suggest you to always look at your references. They are always good stuff to have on your other monitor or in the side. Let's, with the edge polish, define more displaying under the jaw. Here, define more the jaw. All right. Continue refining here a bit less on nose, didn't know. Right. I think it's looking really nice. You know, this looking. I think that's pretty good. All right. Let's make the ears a bit less pronounced. Because before she was looking more maybe like a monkey. Let's make this part of the ear, this white part, a bit pronounced, a bit more like this. Part will be under the other part. The ear's a bit of complex, a bit of a complex area. Let me see if I can show you some sort of anatomy. Alright, let's see how the ear works. As you can see, our ears has a bit of a Y shape. As you can see, a bit of a Y shape that goes here. Then we have this bump here in this part. And we have another bump here. And this part goes all the way through here under this Y shape, like that, as you can see. So that's the same thing I'm trying to do in the scope, trying to find those shapes to make them. As you can see, we have the bump. We have the bump here and the other bump here. All right. I also saw that we have a bit of a weird mouth shape. Let's try to fix that. Make it more appealing, at least for me. I think there's something weird in my room. Alright. Let's continue making this mouth. A bit more appealing, I think. Right, let's see the concept, how this looking. Alright. Let's continue refining the mouth. From the bottom view, let's see how this looking. Let's make this a bit more pronounced. Maybe. Let's refine more the mouth. Pimple here. Let's see how this looking in different angles. Let's build this a bit more. I was looking where in this part. Alright. Perfect. Perfect. Let's see what it's looking from the far view. I think there's a lot of things that we can improve. A bit wider the nose, maybe. Let's pronounce here. A bit smaller the chin, maybe more sharp. Something like that. Let's mask the eyes and bring down the eyebrow a bit like that. Like this. And when we will have a bit of more natural look to our face. Alright, define more the place, our nose, and it's looking a bit weird. Let's see what we can do. That is super weird. Alright. Alright. Tweaking. There's a lot of tweaking and iterations on my sculpting process. I just look from the far, from the close view, top, bottom, from all that things. Also, a good practice that I like to do is just to let rest the model at least for few minutes, like 5-10 minutes, and then go back to it. And when we look back our model, we can see a lot of issues that we haven't seen before, because our eyes tend to get used to how the model is looking. And if we leave the model rest and our eyes rest away from the model, we will have a refresh view of our model, and that way we can spot things that are weird. That's what will happen with me later. I just let rest for a few minutes this. And now we're making the other stuff. Alright. Let me smooth this part a bit. Let's make this more like that. Always to have in mind that the eyelid thickness has to be constant through the whole way here, and also the lower lip, lower eyelid. Finally, now let's see how nice look at this inverted view. All right, I think it's looking good. We have to still make the eyebrows and the hair just to have a full context of how our face is looking. Also, when we do some serum mesh to our face, will we continue tweaking it to make it to her best version possible. All right, what do we have on the mouth? Let's see a bit of anatomy of the mouth. Here, as you can see in this reference, we have some bumps like this one in the middle, and the bump on the lower lip is divided in two like this, as you can see. And we have a bit of a ridge, as you can see here. The bump goes through this, and then there is a bridge here. In the upper lip, we have three bumps, two on the sides and one in the middle. As you can see here, this one, and here is the other two bumps on the lower lip, and here will be the other two bumps here. All right, as you can see, I already have made some of them. Some people don't have the bumps here a bit too pronounced. I also don't like to pronounce them too much, but let's pronounce it a bit. Make the overall shape of our mouth better. Looking a bit weird, I need more resolution to continue refining this face. Alright, before we crank up the resolution, I'm going to make some eyebrows. How we are going to make the eyebrows? Easy. We're just going to mask some basic eyebrow shape like this. And then in the subtool palette, the subtool tab, we're going to press extract. But before pressing extract, I always like to make the thickness 0. Now our extraction will have just one face. As you can see here, there's nothing here, and it's just one face. Now I'm going to inflate it And then I'm going to press the remesh with the poly count of 1, 0.1. Alright, it's good. Then I will do some polish by features maybe, or polish, normal polish, and tweak more the shapes. In the concept, the eyebrows uh, doesn't appear too much, so let's make more from ourselves. Let's improvise some eyebrows form or shape. Let's see. With the pinch brush, I'm going to pinch this part. Alright. Now I'm going to make the eyebrows darker. Let's use the same color as we use for the iris. Well, let's always have in mind that if you use this material channel, the thing that will be applied when we press fill object will be the material. So we have to change back to the RGB to apply the color like this. Now we have our color applied. I think that it can be a bit darker like this. Now with the eyebrow, we have a bit more of context of what is happening. To have a bit more of a soft expression, let's make it less aggressive. Like this. Continue refining stuff. Right. Make the nose a bit less. Continue refining this stuff. Only more the nose shape. I think that we have in a point that we can rank up the resolution. Let's say first. I'm going to crank up the resolution to maybe 200, 224. I think that this will be nice. Define more the shapes of the mouth that we just see earlier. The two dimples, the dimples, not the bumps here. The bump on the front, on the middle of our upper lip, and the other two bumps here. It's smoothed a bit to make it less visible. Let's feel this part a bit more. It's looking a bit weird, at least for me. Going to feel it. Looking a bit weird. Alright, I think this is looking nice. Let's continue working. Let's make this transition a bit sharper. And find more this tempo here. Refining more the node shape. Let's refine it. Alright, with the edge polish, I'm just flattening this part. Let's smooth it. Let's refine more the ear shape. The Y part. YE. Like this. Alright, I think this is looking nice. We can also put a bit of eyelashes just to see her with eyelashes. For women, that's really important to have. Let's see. Let's use this IM curve. I always like to select this one, this white strap. And then we're with a big cursor size, we're going to make a strap that goes under the upper eyelid. Let's make it. And now we are going to use a split mask point just to separate the eyelashes from the head, because now they are merged. Let's separate it. Alright, let's make the eyelashes dark. And let's improve the shape. I'm going to use the pinch brush to make this part thinner. A bit of a mix of pinch and smooth brush. Now a bit of inflate. Make bigger from this part. I don't like it to be thinner in the thick parts. Right. This view mode here is the transparent mode that you can find here. That's just is for you to be able to see through models that are in your way. Let's refine more. You can see it's looking a lot better now. A lot better. Let's keep continuing refining the eye shapes. Finding it a bit more. Carving more here inside. Inside the eye. Right? Let's see. Perfect. A bit more definition here. In the back of our ear too. Bit more definition. Right. To find more a bit of this trapezius muscle. All right. Now I think the ears are a bit lower on our nose. Yeah, as you can see, that makes the ears less big. They are too big. Think this way. Nice. A bit smaller the ears. Like this. Perfect. Perfect. All right. All right. I think we are in a good place to leave for now the head, where we will continue making the block-out of our body, and then we're going to keep refining more the head, adding a block-out of the hair to see now in full context how the face will look. And see you in the next video.